ladies and gentlemen, before I start, I'd like to know your background so that I can cover, I will know why you have come so that I can cover all those things. Yes.
My name is Lata, and I have my own business. But when I read about this topic in the paper,
Yes.
this to help you study better. Now I'm an avid learner.
Yes.
But problem is that, most of the time at this age especially, I can't remember more than half the things that I have read. I know I read a good story or good article,
Yes.
but I can't recall like I used to recall before. So I thought this subject would help me, not just my children,
Yes.
not only in studying, but also in learning, because I'm more in learning rather than
Yes.
studying. That part of my life now, that stage is it.
Yes.
So, and I'd like to recall things better and more efficiently. So I thought if I could, I love to learn.
Yes.
And I love to read.
Yes.
So, but if I can't remember, then the purpose is lost. So I'm here for that.
You are a student? So, I don't think any students are here.
No.
And anybody has come for their kids or your own? No.
Kids also, I have 4 children, so if I can learn something, I can
Yes.
do it automatically. An educated mother is an educated family.
Yes.
So first it begins with me.
For students, what we do is something different.
Yes.
Because let me introduce myself. My name is Balakrishna. I'm working as a professor in chemistry in SAS College. I teach BSc and MSc students, analytical chemistry. And these things I use it in the college for the students. How to improve their memory, concentration and other things. So if it is a student, what I'll be talking will be different. If it is for your own improvement, it will be different.
But some of the methods and the skills would be similar or parallel?
Students write exams,
Okay.
whereas you will not be writing any exam.
Yeah.
So that is a main difference. Also students, they don't like a subject, but they have no choice but to study a subject. For example, a student taking science. Suppose a student is not liking biology, they can drop biology. They don't like physics, they cannot drop physics. They have to study that. And problems. And problems are the greatest problems for students. So using this, that phobia can be removed. Now we have a simple rule. Our paper, every question, the B part has to be a problem. It is compulsory. And most of the students, the moment they see the problem, they leave the problem, go to the next question. So it was introduced, that person said the reason why we are introducing is so that students lose that fear. It is not to put problems and put them into more problem, but just to remove the fear. So now what I do is, even I never liked maths or problems. So when I go to the class, first year when they come, first question I ask them is, how many of you don't like problems? Most of them, they lift the hands. I also lift the hand. I said, even I don't like. But I tell them it is compulsory, you have no choice but to solve the problem. So, but I give them one guarantee, end of the year, all of you will be solving the problem and getting the right answer. Generally, they don't believe. Then I write the formula. Out of 5 things, they have to find 1. 4 will be given. 1 they have to find out using a scientific calculator. Ask them whether they can do it. They say, we can do it. And I teach them also how to use a calculator. But college, I cannot use hypnosis on the whole group. But suppose there is a student who hates the subject. We can make the student not hate the subject or love the subject. It depends on the person. Or even anything like, suppose your son or daughter brings a cat or dog. I think most of them will be asking for a pet, will be saying no. At least my house also we do the same thing. But suppose you have no choice, something comes. Either you can be made to love that thing or remove the hatred or fear. That can be done using hypnosis. How many of you have been hypnotized before? I think all of you have been hypnotized without your knowledge. Because hypnosis is one subject, people have so many ideas. Even today there was an article in the paper. I got the message even before that. Hypnosis, there are two types. One is what we use it for. I will not be hypnotizing you. You will be hypnotizing yourself. I will be only guiding you for your benefit. The other thing is stage hypnosis, where the hypnotist calls the people. He hypnotizes them, makes them behave like babies, make them dance, sing. So everybody has fun. Only problem is, you may enjoy the whole program, but afterwards, you will not use it for your benefit because you have that fear. Because somebody will hypnotize you, make you a laughing stock. So that is a main problem. So this was a stage hypnotist. 3 people he had hypnotized them, told them they have come from Mars, they are Martians. And while he was walking, he tripped, somebody's leg was out, he tripped, fell down and he fainted. They had to evacuate the whole hall, pull down the curtains, and then after some time he got up and brought them out. Anybody read that article? Since I got the message, I read it in the paper also. Even if it happens, even when you are in deep trance, I pass out or I faint, nothing will happen to you. You will go to sleep. After some time, automatically you will get up. Taking a person into trance is very difficult. Bringing the person out of trance is the simplest thing. Now, hypnosis can be used for studies. So before going into that, I'll tell you briefly about the brain. See, we have a brain. And there are 2 sides, left and right side of the brain. Left side deals with logic, mathematics, all problem solving, computers. All logical thinking is done by the left hand side. Right hand side deals with logic, intuition, creativity and other things. Generally people will use only the left side. I'll be teaching how to integrate both the sides. When you had been students, used to study, you may be remembering it page by page. It starts from, even now you may remember, starts from this page, ends here, those things. So those things, you can go to that state and remember. Now the brain, if you take the electroencephalogram, like the electrocardiogram, you put electrodes here and measure the electrical activity of the brain, that is called the electroencephalogram. Then you will find 4 stages. If it is above 14 cycles per second, it is called the beta state. That is a normal wakeful state. In seeing the date, I remembered today is 6th. Today is the birthday of the person who taught me hypnotherapy, Dr. Brian David Philip. And I don't know whether anybody has seen the film Longest Day. Anybody has seen that film? The Longest Day. Long time back. Even I saw it when I was very small. It happened on 6 June 1944. I remembered that. See, this is a normal wakeful state. This is a state when you are asleep, when you are not dreaming. That deep state. This is a dreaming state. In between there is one state this is the alpha state of the mind. This state, when you are going to sleep also go through that state, but you may not notice it. But when you are coming out of sleep, you will notice it. You know, there is a stage between your sleep and the wakeful state. When your eyes are closed, you know everything that is happening around you. That is called the alpha state of the mind. 7 to 14 cycles per second. And brain, the messages are passed because of electric current. In fact, our whole nervous system, current is passing. So when you measure the ECG or EEG, you're actually measuring the electrical activity. And any electrical circuit, when can maximum current flow? When will maximum current flow? When the resistance is less. And at this state, the resistance is very less, so maximum current can flow in your brain. So maximum information can flow, and you can do maximum work in this state of mind. You also achieve this by meditation. All those who meditate also go to this state. But the difference between meditation and hypnosis is, first thing, when you are meditating, your mind will be going everywhere. Except in your own mind, it will be everywhere else, traveling. Second, that is like drifting, floating in water. Suppose there is a big pond or river, you just lie down and float in the water. You can only float, do nothing. Using hypnosis, normally we do the anchoring. Take the person to that state and give the anchor. When the person presses the trigger, 1 second they can go to that state. And using hypnosis is like sitting in a boat and attaching an outboard motor. You can take it anywhere you want, do all the work that you want. That is the main difference between meditation and hypnosis. Otherwise, there is not much of a difference. This is almost like meditation. Or meditation is almost like hypnosis. So when you go for any meditation, any of the branded meditations, they will tell you, we don't hypnotize people. In fact, everybody is hypnotizing you. One thing you don't realize, they don't realize. Or they realize, they don't tell you. So hypnosis is not anything bad by which I control your mind or get all your secrets. First thing, I cannot control your mind. Second, your secrets will remain with you. Unless you want to tell me, you will not tell me. Even under the deepest trance, people nicely tell lies. That's why when we hypnotize people, we never ask them to talk. After they get up, we ask them. Only tell them, don't tell a lie. If you don't want to tell me the truth, don't tell me. But tell me, I don't want to talk about this. So by going to this state, we can study. Other thing, I don't know how many of you don't get sleep in the night, but all my students, the moment they open the book, they get very good sleep. That always happens. All students, when they sit in the class also, they get nice sleep. And the moment they open the book, they can read novels for the whole night. Many of them do that also. Full night they'll be reading novels. Full night they'll be sitting in net. But the moment they open the textbook, they go to sleep. Because that is boring. And parents generally tell the children, you study. And if you don't study, you will fail in exam. and you tell them, the mind takes it as don't study and fail in the exam. So you should never use any negative language, and there has to be some benefit. Unless there is a benefit, you will not do it.